All right, how are y'all doing today? Now, my name is Todd Smith. Like Brother Chester said, I'm from right down the road in Sebastopol, and I travel all over the Southeast, and I always ask this question, and I hope I get 100% feedback from y'all. Show your hands, how many of y'all know where Sebastopol is? Perfect. Most places I go, I get like one or two. Like, I may have heard of it before. But it's good to be here today. My name is Todd Smith. I've been doing magic since I was about 5 years old. So since the time I was a really young kid, I grew up in Sebastopol, and I'm still there today. Most of my family still live there today. I've been married for 17 years yesterday, and thank y'all. I appreciate that. Been married for 17 years. I've got a 12-year-old daughter, a 10-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old little boy. So my life outside of magic and life is like a circus, pretty much. So I grew up, like I told you, I grew up doing magic when I started about age 5. I used to save all my money, and we'd go family vacations. My mom and dad take my sister and I to most of the time we went to summer vacation to Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg, and I'd save up every dollar I had. And I'd go to a couple of different magic shops up in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, and I'd blow every bit of my money on magic. And I still got the first trick. I still got it to this day. My mom says I got my first trick when I was 5, and I took it home. I started showing it to my friends, and they were blown away, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I got something on my friends. And then I started showing it to my parents, started faking my parents out, and then my distant family and other adults, and I was like, this is pretty good stuff here. I know something they don't. And anyway, so I grew up in Sebastopol. I can say Sebastopol today. I don't have to say Central Mississippi. So I grew up in Sebastopol, going to Sebastopol Baptist Church, which is where I still go today. And I gave my life to the Lord at 11 years old. I tell everybody the first time I got saved, I was 11 years old. I heard a good friend of mine, Brother Randall Creel, he said everybody deserves to get saved at least one time. So I'll tell you the other half of that later on. But I grew up in church, learning all the stories about the Bible and stories about Jesus and miracles that Jesus performed while he was on earth, and the creation and all those good things. And I thank God that I was raised in a family house that took me to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, pretty much, and every Wednesday night. I was active in the children's group and youth and all that stuff. And so for growing up in Sebastopol, small town Mississippi, it was easy for me to be a Christian as a kid. Most of my friends were Christians. They all went to church. So it was just the right thing to do. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time, and it was pretty much. And I tell everybody, as I grew up, I didn't do much bad. I don't have the big testimony as far as I never did anything really bad in my life. However, there was one thing, and I tell everybody this, so I'll tell you, you guys are pretty local. If you lived near a 30-mile radius of Sebastopol, Mississippi, around in the late 90s, and you woke up one morning and had a chicken in your mailbox, there's a 95% chance I put it in there. So that's what we did on the weekends growing up in Sebastopol. We'd steal chickens and misplace them all over the place. So that's about as, I wanted to go ahead and get that out of there. Confession time. All right, so I've been doing magic for several years. The past several years, I've been all over the Southeast doing magic shows for birthday parties all the way up. I love doing church magic shows, and that's what I'm passionate about, all the way up through big, fancy, swanky corporate shows. And I'm so glad today that I don't have to put on my accent for you guys, because you understand everything that I say. I tell people all the time, like Jerry Clower said, I can talk that ergonomic talk, and y'all won't even know I'm from the South. So glad I don't have to do that today. So doing magic, I tell everybody, especially kids, to be magic, you have to have supernatural powers, right? I don't have any supernatural powers. I believe there's only one being that has supernatural powers. That's the God of the Bible. So what we're going to be doing today is illusions. Now, does everybody, you kids, do you understand what an illusion is? An illusion is something that looks real, but it's really not, right? So it's my job as a magician or a illusionist to deceive everybody in here today. And I want you to know it's all just tricks and gimmicks. Some of it sleight of hand, misdirection, all that fun stuff that you get to learn to be a magician. So I want to show you guys the first example of an illusion that I have up here, and this is something that I do everywhere I go just to break the ice, so to speak. It's something that's pretty easy to do, and it's a simple two-sided card, a big two-sided card. Now, I want everybody to pay close attention to this two-sided card. Okay, it's got one spot on this side, 6 on this side, 3 on this side, 4 on this side, and then 1 again on that side. Is everybody with me still so far? I know I'm from Mississippi, but I can speak pretty fast when I need to. Okay, so listen. I may get in trouble for this, but I was talking to Brother Chester before the show, and I asked this everywhere I go. He said he's an Alabama fan, right? We have any more Alabama fans in here? We've got a few. Okay, yeah, listen. Brace yourselves, okay? Because I'm going to do this one more time for you guys, because I know you're a little bit slower than normal people, all right? Here we go. That was just a joke, just a joke. Just a joke. Okay, here we go. It's got one spot on this side. I almost got beat up in Alabama one time for that joke. When I go to Alabama, I change it to Ole Miss. All right, here we go. One spot on this side, 6 on this side, 3 on this side, 4 on this side, and 1 on this side. Raise your hand if you've got that one figured out. Most people can figure that one out pretty quick, right? I'm going to show you guys how to do that. The first thing that I did when I came out, I told you there was one spot on this side of the card. That was the first lie I told. I turned it over. I told you there was 6. You cannot see 6 spots, right? This is how magicians control your mind, so to speak. By the way, they cannot do that. They cannot read your mind. But what they can do is prevent you from doing any type of critical thinking. This is exactly what this is. How many spots can you see? 5. That's correct. If I cover this one up, it looks like 4. Cover this one up, it looks like 6. There's only 5 spots on this side of the card. That's how magicians get you from the start, right? It's based off of assumptions. Same thing on this other side right here. You can only see one spot, therefore you assume that I'm telling you the truth. If I do this, tell you there's 3, it's based off assumption there's only 2. Now it's real important when I started this trick out to come out like this and say one spot on this side of the card, because if I were to do like this, one spot, nobody would have believed me from the start. Nobody wouldn't have been real impressive. Now somebody told me the other day, this is pretty cool. They said, I know for a fact when you spun the card around the side with only 5 spots on it, somebody said, I know for a fact I saw 6 spots on that side of the card. Said, no way. Somebody else told me this. The same person, matter of fact, said, I know there was 3 spots on the other side of the card. And this is the way illusions work. The more you flip this card, the more spots appear, and I have no idea how that happens. That's the first example of an illusion. You guys remember that one, go home and show your friends, okay? I love to teach people magic tricks. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I love teaching people tricks, so I'm going to show you guys again. This is one of the first tricks that I ever learned how to do, and some of you kids will love this one. Go straight home and figure this one out, okay? This is a Fushigi ball is what magicians call it. They have these at Dollar General, and I got this one at Dollar General in Sebastopol, Mississippi. Okay, listen. This is it's called contact juggling. Magicians and jugglers call it contact juggling, and it's a ball with like a crystal mirror on the inside of it. And as long as you don't let it leave your fingertips, it looks like it's floating in the air. Pretty cool, right? Now I've been doing this since age 5 for many, many years. I figured out how the true secret of levitation. Watch this: snap of the fingers, really make that thing levitate. Years of experience right here, okay? Or you can go to Walmart and buy a soup ladle, and it's a lot easier that way. That should be everybody's first magic tricks. Magic tricks do not have to be, the secret is not impressive. I'm telling you the truth. That should be everybody's first thing to learn there. Now, all right, so I learned this next trick years ago when I was a kid. An old Chinese magician, matter of fact, who was in Pigeon Forge, and it was an old Chinese magician. He showed me this trick. His name was Something Wong, and he showed me exactly how to do this trick right here. He said, here's what you do. You show everybody the palm of your hand is empty, just like this, and you take a silk, in this case, a purple silk. Do we have any LSU fans here today? I didn't think so, not in church. All right, here we go. LSU fans right here. All right, just a joke, just a joke. Here we go. We're going to pass the silk, Mr. Something Wong. He said, take the silk, pass it through your hand, just like that. And then ball your fist up. He said, you want to ball your fist up with this other hand. Take the silk, put it in the top of your hand just like this. You want to go in with the purple one like that and it turns color, blue out the bottom. Check that out. Blue, purple in the top, blue out the bottom. He said you take it all and stuff it all down neat inside the palm of your hand just like that, and it changes colors. And I said, that's pretty cool. I got to know how to do that. And I said, but I know how you're doing it. He's like, open your hand up. He's like, nothing here. So that's what he said, nothing here. So anyway, who wants to see how to do that trick? It's a pretty cool trick. I'll show you guys the secret. Here's the secret that you don't want anybody to know, okay? It's not only done with one silk, but it's done with two silks. Check that out. A purple silk in this case and a blue silk. Now, before the show, I had this silk and I was stuffing it down in the side of the top of my hand just like this. I was hiding it in the palm of my hand so that nobody knew it was in there, okay? This is the secret. You don't want anybody to know. You got to stick that one up in there really good. Pack it down deep inside there. You don't want anybody to know you've got that purple silk hidden inside your hand, okay? So when you come out on the stage, you have to hold one silk in a natural, unawkward position along with this hand. So something like this right here. You want to hold. You don't want anybody to know this. You don't want to open that hand up because everybody will know you got the purple silk hidden inside, right? Don't do this because they'll know you got the purple silk hidden in there. I can do that, but you guys can't do that yet, okay? Purple silk hidden, and then you take the other silk, in this case, the blue silk, and you just do the same thing. You just take it deep inside the top of your hand, just like this, and you pull it out the bottom, and it becomes purple. Now, when the old Chinese magician was showing me this, he said, this is what you don't want to do, Todd. He said, when you're putting the blue one in the top of your fist, just like this, he said, don't do this. Because then everybody will know you've got two silks, right? You don't want anybody to know you've got two silks. If that happens, take the purple one, just do away with it. Stick it somewhere. Then you can continue the trick. You take the blue one, put it in the top, and then it changes colors when it comes out the bottom. You put the blue one in the top, all the way down, purple out the bottom, and that is how you do the color-changing silk trick. Remember that one as well, and go home and show your friends that one too. That's a good trick. I love that one. So as I told you before, I go everywhere all by myself. Sometimes I like to have people to help me out with different effects and different tricks and demonstrations and stuff. So sometimes I have to ask people to borrow objects, and I have to ask for people to help me do tricks, right? Assistance. So I'm looking for a little boy about the age of 5, 6 years old, something like that. Do we have anybody that would like to help me out? Seven right here in the blue shirt. Give him a big round of applause. Come right on up here. All right. What is your name? Carson. Come right on up here, Carson. How old are you, Carson? 5 years old. Are you serious? You are not going to believe this. I used to be 5 years old. All right, Carson, have you ever been in a magic show before? Never have. Okay, you're going to be good at this trick. That's why I picked you. Now, Carson, to be a good magician's assistant, you have to stare at the audience, make eye contact with people all out throughout the audience, stand up really straight, smile real big and pretty, just like you know what's going on, although you really don't, okay, the whole time. That's the key to being the good magician's assistant. Now, the next thing that I want you to help me out with, Carson, is this. This we have in this bag, we have an egg. I want you to hold that egg up really high, right there where everybody can see it. Just go ahead and hold it up. You keep that in your possession. Just whenever you get ready, you can just hold that egg right there. Yeah. There we go, Carson. Perfect. Now, hold that. Nobody take your eyes off of that bag. This is Carson's trick, not mine, okay? Now, Carson, what do you want to be when you grow up? A magician. Give Carson a big round of applause. Now, the next thing we have to do, Carson, is show everybody this bag. This is a really special bag to me. It's nothing unordinary about it. It's nothing on the inside, nothing on the outside. However, this bag was made...
like a real egg.
Okay, now that that's out in the open, I've got some explaining to do. This is not a real egg, okay? I don't have good experiences with kids and real eggs. That's why I carry a plastic egg, all right? All right, Carson, thanks for pointing that out to everybody. All right, Carson. This bag, back to the bag, this bag was made from my grandmother's curtains. She showed it up for me. That's the reason that it looks like it does. Now, Carson, hold that egg up really high. I want you to drop the egg into the bag whenever I count to 3. That's no joke. I got you that one. No, you're good. All right, Carson, so here's the next thing. Do you know any magical gestures or magic words or anything like that? Nothing at all? Okay, now listen, this is the serious part of the program. This is the educational part because I am on a mission to change the magic words to something a lot easier to say than abracadabra, alakazam, hocus pocus, all those different things, okay? I'm a Mississippi boy. Grew up a Mississippi kid just like I told you. And you can get in trouble trying to say words that you don't know what they mean to say, all right? So I'm trying to change the magic words. When I was 8 years old, I'm a Baptist. I grew up a Baptist, and I was in a Methodist church one time in a revival, and I heard a Pentecostal man scream at the preacher across the room, and he said, "Come on!" And it lit the preacher on fire. And I said, there's something to that come on. So from that point on, come on has been my magic words, all right? So, Carson, on the count of 3, I want you to pat the egg. The egg is still there, right? We have not done anything with it. Feel it? Just verify for the audience. Like this. Yes, still there, right? Wave your hand over the bag and say the magic words really loud. Everybody help him out. 1, 2, 3. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, just like that, when that happens, the egg disappears. Big round of applause for Carson. What do you think, Carson? It's not in my hand. I knew you'd think it was. It's not in my hand. It's not in my hand. It's not under my arm. It's not under this arm. Another big round for Carson. The egg has really vanished. We'll show everybody the inside of the bag. Absolutely nothing on the inside of the bag, Carson. Now listen. This is when we got to get the egg back because I got to have that tonight, as a matter of fact, okay? Because remember, it's not a real egg because everybody knows that now. All right, Carson, back up just a touch to the other side of the stage. Watch that table behind you right there. That's perfect. Now, Carson, here's when you got to do the cool stuff. You got to be the cool magician, okay? I saw David Copperfield do this one time. He got on stage and he gave everybody the magician's eyebrow. That'll work. All right, Carson, point your toe at the audience just like this right here. Shrug your shoulders. Perfect. All right, Carson. Show the audience that the palm of your hand is empty. Hold your hand up. All right, Joel. Just like this. Hold it right there. Okay, hold it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, notice that Carson's hand will never leave his wrist. All right, Carson, reach up into the air. Grab an imaginary egg. Got it? Pull it in by your ear. Shake it. Do you hear it? Hear it in there? Just say yes. Yes! Don't let go of that egg. Don't let go of the egg. Hold the egg. Imaginary. Got to imagine. It's imagine. It's not real. It's just imaginary, okay? All right, Carson, hold that egg right there. My hands are not going to go into the bag. I've not slipped anything into the bag, okay? Carson. Whoa, 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 whoa. I want you to toss the egg up into the air, and I'm going to try to catch it in the bag here, okay? My hands are not going to go in here, okay? Go ahead. 1, 2, 3. Listen, I don't want to go in the bag. I want you to reach into the bag, okay? Because that was a pretty good toss there. Reach into the bag. Show everybody that the egg has pea-reared. Big round of applause for Carson. The 5, Carson. Thank you very much. Now, Carson, you can stay right there. We're going to help you. I want you to help me do one more thing here, okay? This is pretty cool. This is another old ancient trick that I got years ago. I got this trick many years ago, Carson. And this is a pretty cool one. Really old. You've ate Pringles before, right? Pringles out of the can. This is kind of like a Pringles can. It looks like a candy cane for some reason. I don't know why. But it has nothing on the inside of it. It's just a simple tube. And an old antique cherry Coke bottle, okay? So, Carson, I want you to hold your left hand out just like this right here. We're going to put that bottle right there. Grip it from the bottom. Hold that just like this. The next thing is take your right hand. Put it over this just like that. Perfect. Now you hold those right there, okay? Now I have one exactly like the one you have, and we're going to show everybody exactly how to do this trick together, okay, Carson? Nothing here. We've got a soda bottle in the can exactly like yours. All right, Carson, you do exactly like I do, okay? Take your can and place it over the top of the bottle just like this. Perfect. Now, this is when you have to do exactly what I do. Take your right hand on the top just like this and go 1, 2, 3, and show everybody that your bottle is still there, right? Well, bottle is not vanished yet, hopefully. Bottle is still there. One more time here. You ready? You good? All right. All right, let's just start over, okay? We can show everybody your bottle. Your bottle's still there. Yeah, perfect. All right, now Carson, watch this. 1, 2, 3. All right, pick it up. Show everybody your bottle's still there, right? Yeah, we're still there. We're good there. Yeah, perfect. All right, now Carson. This time you got to do it exactly like I do, okay? 1. Perfect. 2, 3. Yeah, now just pick your can up right there just like that. Yeah. Okay, Carson, hold on just a second. Let me just set mine aside here. Let me see. Let me see this thing. Okay, we're good. Okay, hold this right here, Carson. Just like that, okay? We're going to do this one more time, okay? Because I want everybody to see this trick here, okay? Let's do it again. Show everybody your bottle. Big finale here. Perfect. 1, 2. All right, now, we're on track. Wave your hand over the top of the can. Say the magic words. Come on! Come on. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, watch the bottle turn to a clear bottle. Thank you very much. Give him a big round of applause. There we go. All right, thank you very much, Carson. You can have a seat. Thank you so much for helping me out. You did great, Carson. Now, I need to borrow this. This is a pretty cool, this is another classic magic trick that I love to do. And I don't do this one everywhere, but this one is a really cool trick done with an ordinary piece of rope. That's a real piece of rope, no magnets, trap doors, circus animals, clowns, or anything else hidden inside. I'm going to pass this out. I want somebody to look at this, make sure this is a real piece of rope, okay? Just look at that, inspect that. Thank you very much. Now, we'll continue with the trick. No joke. Check that out. Make sure that's a real piece of rope right there. It doesn't have, a lot of magicians, a lot of gimmicked ropes will have magnets and breaks that where it comes apart real easy. This is a real piece of rope. Matter of fact, that piece of rope came from Eastham Hardware in Sebastopol, Mississippi. They charge me double for it when I go in there. Here we go right here. I'm probably the only one in history of Sebastopol to buy a piece of rope just to cut it apart. Here we go right here. One thing that every piece of rope has. Ends, you're correct. Every piece of rope has 2 ends. Now to make this trick unique, we're going to cut the ends off of the rope. Now we have a rope without any ends on it. Now, if this is what used to be the ends of the rope here, and this is the middle of the rope right down here, what does that make this part? The sides of the rope. Now we'll take the middle of the rope and bring it right up to the top. Watch real close. We're going to cut it in half. Cut it in half just like that. We're going to let the 2 ends fall. Now, how many pieces of rope do we have? 2 pieces of rope. Exactly right. 2 perfectly even pieces of rope. Perfect on one end and almost perfect on the other. And I tell you what, it's real important that we get this thing perfect. Let's go ahead and start this trick over because we really need to get these ropes perfectly the same here. Okay, I'm sorry I messed that up. 2 ends at the top. What used to be the ends, take the middle up, bring them up to the top. We're going to cut this in half one more time, okay? Oop, there we go. Right here, we're going to cut the rope in half. This is the second time we've cut this rope in half. Perfect on one end. Now, if I was a real magician, I could like, perfect, 2 perfectly even pieces of rope. We'll take them, we're going to tie them together at the top in a knot just to make it seem restored there, okay, for the time being. Now, what's your name right here on the front row? Tristan, how old are you? I was 10 for a whole year one time. All right, Tristan, we're going to do this a little bit different. I want to let you decide where we cut the rope at, okay? You tell me where we're going to stop. Right there. Any further? Okay, we'll go ahead and cut the rope right there. Perfectly right there where you wanted to cut it. Now, the same thing is going to happen here. We're going to tie the rope at the ends where we cut it, okay? So we have a length of rope cut and tie it into 3 different places there. Now, Tristan, can you join me up here? Everybody give Tristan a big round of applause. All right, Tristan. Now, what we're going to do, Tristan, we're going to try to restore this piece of rope and do the magic on it, okay, so to speak. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to just put your hands out just like this right here. Perfect. We're going to hide the knot, one of the knots in your hand. Just go ahead and put your hands together. Hide that knot right there, okay? Don't let anything happen to it. I'm going to grab this end of the rope right here. On the count of 3, Tristan, I want you to focus all of your energy right there on your hands. And it does absolutely nothing, but it looks cool. Open your hands up, Tristan. Check that out. The rope is completely restored. The knot has disappeared. That's pretty cool. It's never happened that easy before, Tristan. It's pretty good. All right, Tristan, that worked so good. We're going to try to do it again. Let's try to do it on the same thing again. Go ahead there. Close that one up. We can just take it. I don't want that one to jump back on there as easy as that was. Let's get rid of that thing. Right here, Tristan, snap of the fingers. Open your fist up. Yep, that's what I thought. Didn't work real good that time. All right, Tristan, I think I know what the problem is here. Let's just move it down here to the end, right there. Try it right there. Cover that one up just right there. Perfect. Snap of the fingers real quick. Open your hands up again. Yep, I'll tell you what, Tristan. You take this home with you next time. Well, you see me do a magic show, you can try that again. Maybe you'll figure that out. Give Tristan a big round of applause. Magic show souvenir, Tristan. Here you go. Magic show souvenir. There you go. Now, like I said before, I really like to borrow objects from people because sometimes people think that, and they do, magicians carry gimmicked objects with them as far as like trick objects. So I'm going to need to borrow an object from somebody in the audience. Don't worry, you will get it back. I'm not going to damage it or anything crazy like that. Hopefully. I need to borrow a bill from somebody. This needs to be at least a $5 bill. A $5, $10, $20, $50, or a $100 bill. I have absolutely no idea if there's anything higher than that, okay? But the higher the currency, the more impressive this trick is. So right over here, we've got a $5 bill. Anybody got anything over than a $5 bill? Seriously, the higher the currency, the more impressive this is. 20 right there. Anybody got anything over a 20? Okay, I tell you what, let's get the $5 bill. This guy raised his hand first back here. I tell you what, I'll come around to you because I want you to do something to this. This is just to prove that we started in with the same object, okay? I want you to sign, what's your name? Zach, I want you to just sign your name across the face of that bill right there, okay? Really big so that everybody in the audience can see it. It's all the way across. You can also write, no, you better not write your, let's see, go ahead and sign it really big where that everybody can see it. I tell you what, go ahead and write your first and last name and your social security number and debit card number. Don't worry about that. Just go and write it really big across there so that it start from one end and go to the other so that everybody can see it from the sea. Perfect, just like that. That's what I was looking for when I said that the first time. All right, go ahead and hand me the Sharpie. And ladies, notice this will not leave your side, okay? This is a Zach, right? Zach's $5 bill. Now, there's been some counterfeit money. You guys have probably heard this before. There's been some counterfeit money going around the Philadelphia area. And I'm going to show you guys how to tell if it's counterfeit or not. The first thing that you want to do is look at the face on the bill. In this case, we've got Abraham Lincoln on a $5 bill, which is legit so far. Sometimes the counterfeiters, the people that make the fake money, when they reprint the money, they'll put their own face on the bill. And it's a dead giveaway when you look at it. You can like it's fake. The second thing that you should never do with your money, Zach, is give it to a magician. That's a joke. You'll get it back. Third way to tell if it's counterfeit or not is to give it the simple fold test. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. Nothing in this hand, nothing in this hand. We're going to take the right over the left, just like this. Crease it down the middle, bring the bottom up in front of the top. Crease it again. Take the right over the left once more. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to notice that Zach's bill will never leave your sight. You just simply fold it up as small as possible, as small as you can get it, and then you just simply unfold it. Zach, you gave me a 5, right? No, I gave you 100. All right. In that case, for the people back there that can't see what just happened, he gave me a $100 bill, and now it's a $1 bill, and I have no idea how that happens. There you go, Zach. You can take that. Thank you very much. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get on down the road. I hope you enjoyed the magic show as much as I did. My name is Todd Smith. Thank you, and God bless America. All right, guys. Hey, Tristan, right? Just take this back there to Mr. Zach. He can just have that bowling ball. I don't even want it anymore. I feel bad about that. What happened? Just lost like $100. Okay, let's see. Oh, I tell you what, Zach. Zach, can you join me up here, please, sir? Everybody give Zach a big round of applause. All right, thank you, Zach. I'll take the bowling ball out of your hand for safety purposes. Now, Zach, still a little recap. You gave me what I thought was a $5 bill. Apparently it was 100. And we folded it up and it turned into a $1 bill, right? That's pretty accurate? Yeah. So here's what I do. Sometimes magic, it's never happened before. So sometimes I carry things with me, and when stuff like that goes wrong, sometimes I carry stuff in my pocket, like souvenirs and stuff like that. Never mind. Here it is, right down here in the bottom of my shoe. I've got it right here. I forgot I put it in my shoe. Now, this is something that I carry in case stuff like this happens, okay? It's a $100 lemon. Give Zach a big round of applause. You can have a seat, Zach. Zach, hold that up so that everybody can see it. And I know you guys, when I pulled that out of my shoe, you guys didn't think that's a fake lemon. So you know that's a fake lemon, right? It came out of my shoe like sponge or something. Hold that up, Zach. I'm going to prove to you that that is a real lemon. But the first thing I need to do, Zach, is pay you back. Do you accept credit cards? Okay. Let me see if I can change your mind. I have right here in this case, I picked this up last night when I was down there, a Jackson, Mississippi credit card. No, bad joke. All right, Zach, put that lemon right there in the palm of my hand. I'm going to show you guys this is a real lemon. Watch real close. You can see the lemon juice coming out of the inside of the lemon. We're just going to cut it open and show you the inside of the lemon so that everybody... Zach, there's something on the inside of the lemon. I have no idea how that got there. Go ahead and I don't want to touch that. Pull that out. There's no way that's the same bill that you signed before, though, right? It is. Big round of applause for Zach. Check that out. You can have a seat. Thank you very much. That was close there. Okay. Whew, glad that turned out to work the way it did. Now, before we go any further, I do want to see, I need to get 2 more volunteers from the audience. I'll tell you what, we'll just wait on this one. We'll get that in just a second, okay? But before we do that, I do want to talk to you guys for a little bit. Now, I told you before that whenever I grew up in Sebastopol doing magic tricks and stuff like that, from the time I was a little kid, I loved to fool people. I love to trick people. It just did something to me. It just got me all funny on the inside. And it's like, man, this is cool. I got something on people. I know how to trick people and lie to people. By the way, I tell everybody everywhere I go, especially if my parents are in the crowd, which they're not today, but I'll go ahead and tell you in case any of you know them. I never once lied to my parents. Okay, that's a lie. When I was growing up, I was very honest, despite the fact that I knew how deception worked and I knew how to work my mouth. I was always pretty honest with my parents. My parents always, they were pretty good with me about letting me do stuff, letting me make my own choices and my own decisions if I told them the truth and I was honest with them. Because here's the reason that I was honest. Because I grew up in small town, just like we said before, and if you do something wrong in Sebastopol, Mississippi on Friday night, your dad will know about it that Thursday before it happened. It gets back to him that quick, right? So I was always pretty honest. But growing up, learning about the art of deception and stuff like that, I kind of got away from magic when I got older. I got in high school, and I tried to impress the girls at some point in high school with magic, and I ended up, they was like run away from me. It was like really messing with their brains. I was like, okay, he's weird. Let's get away from him. He does crazy stuff. So I stopped doing magic for that very reason. Years later, I got married. I grew up. I graduated high school. I went to college. And I married my high school sweetheart when I was 19 years old, a year after we graduated. And she is 19 as well. And so 5 years later, we had our first child, and we've got 3 now. But I'm telling you all that for this. When I got older and I started having kids and I was trying to be the husband of my father, keep in mind I'm still going to church, trying to do the right thing. It's the way I was raised. It just seemed like the right thing to do. But here I am, and it started working on my mind, because at this point I'd started doing magic again, and people had started, this is when I really started, people started hiring me to do magic shows. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So I started reading books, trying to get better at the art of deception and misdirection and sleight of hand and all those different kind of things. And I'd pick up books, and I'd read books about psychology, the art of misdirection, how the brain responds to different shapes and colors, and it's crazy how that stuff works. And how to influence people and how to use suggestion to get people to make certain decisions. And that kind of way of thinking kind of overran in my Christian life. Because to be a good magician or illusionist, you have to force your audience to assume what they are hearing or seeing is real, right? And that kind of way of thinking kind of came over into my Christian life, and I'm like, having all these crazy thoughts, all this stuff. I've been learning this. I've been going to church and learning about all this stuff, but I don't even know if it's really true. What if it's not true? All those different things that can go through your mind. And I was like, I want it to be true, but I don't know how to tell anybody if it is true. About that time when I was having those thoughts in my head, this went on for a few years, not very long, I was encountered by a guy that I spoke to. I was talking to him over at a place where I worked at Forest. And this guy he had a filthy mouth and big, burly tattoo guy. He's like the big, tough guy, you know what I'm saying? And he was a friend of mine, I'll say that. But he said some things that really upset me. He started talking about God and the Bible, and he got talking about how he didn't believe in any of that stuff and how it was crazy that anybody would believe it. And he's never seen anybody that could tell them why they believe what they believe about Jesus and God and the Bible, and it really upset me, because here I am, the Christian. I'm trying to be the Christian guy. I was born a Christian, trying to learn all those things, and I heard this guy say this stuff, and I said, I got to do something. It's my Christian duty. I got to go back there and defend this guy. I got to defend my faith. I've got to go talk to this guy right now and set him straight. So I prayed. I sat down. I said, God, give me the words you'd have me to speak. I'm going to go back here and set this guy straight right now. I don't even know what I'm doing. Fill me with your Holy Spirit. I'm going to go at him. And I went back there at that guy and started trying to talk to him. And I immediately knew that he knew more about the Bible than I did. And I'm the one that's supposed to be the Christian. He was an atheist. He didn't believe in none of it. It really bothered me. Really bad. I tried with all my might to try to teach this guy and talk to him and stuff like that. But here, I tell you all this to tell you, I tell you all that to tell you this. God will give you words to speak to other people. But He's not going to give you words to speak to other people if you don't know the Word yourself, right? You got to be rooted and grounded in the Bible, in the Word of God, to be able to do those things. So it really bothered me. I went home that afternoon. I left work early. This happened several years ago. I went home early from work, and I squalled like a baby all the way home because it upset me that bad. I mean, this guy said some pretty nasty things to me. And I called my wife and I said, I got to do something. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to tell this guy why I'm a Christian, why I believe what I believe, and I don't even know. And then I've got all this other stuff going on that I've never told anybody about having assumptions that all this stuff was real. And I'm like, I know how deception works. If anybody knows how to tell a lie and get people to believe stuff, it's me. And I started thinking, have I been the victim of my own thoughts and my own stuff that I've been able to learn, all this stuff? And it really started bothering me. And I got on my knees. I don't know if it was that specific night, but it was soon after. And I told God, I said, God, if you're real, I want you to reveal yourself to me so that I will know. I don't want to tell somebody I'm a Christian. I want to tell them why I'm a Christian. I want to be able to give them evidence and proof as to why I believe what I believe. And God started working on me in a way, I'm telling you, there's no other explanation for it. And I started looking, so I'm always a big science guy. I love science. I love stuff like that, artifacts and stuff like that growing up. Obviously, it kind of runs in together with magic and all that stuff. And I started looking at non-biblical evidence. Let's say this. If the Bible is, if Jesus is real, there's got to be, if he really was a real person on this earth, he's got to be mentioned somewhere else in history besides the Bible. That's where I wanted to start at. And all this stuff started popping in my mind. Like, go to the internet. So you can't go to the internet. There's nothing on the internet. You can't believe those people, right? But that's exactly what I did. Here's what I did. I looked at at debates, Christian debates among a Christian. The first one I looked at was a debate on Jesus, the life of Jesus, between a Christian scholar and an atheist scholar. And I sat there for an hour and a half on YouTube listening to both sides of it. He would give his argument, this guy would give his argument, this and this and this and this and this. And it dawned on me, this Christian guy right here, he's bringing up stuff that's not even in the Bible. And this atheist guy, he's not even arguing with the fact that Jesus was a real person. As a matter of fact, he has admitted that Jesus was a real person on the face of the earth and that the people that lived around him thought that he was a miracle worker and he did good things, right? And I was like, man, this is amazing. Could this stuff be true? So I got involved with it. I started looking at that. I started looking at evidence for the creation of the world and evidence for miracles, against miracles. So I said, okay, I was overwhelmed with all this stuff. So, okay, I've got to start somewhere and set myself right there. So I said, the Bible is where we get the word of Jesus, the New Testament. So I said, I went to the New Testament. I'd done an investigation on the New Testament. I looked at non-Christian stuff about the New Testament and what all people, scholars, understand and believe. And I was overwhelmed with the evidence that I found. And when I say the New Testament, here's what I mean. I mean the 27 different books written on 27 different scrolls by 9 different people. Different. All these people wrote this stuff down themselves. And I looked at that. I looked at the 4 Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I said, these 4 Gospels, this is just history. These people are recording history about what happens back in the day. And then you get to the book of Acts where the church starts. And I was like, oh man, this stuff is like lining up. And they got all this other information. And people are starting, trying to talk to my people at work that don't believe it. And I'm like, have you thought about this evidence? Well, what about this? And I was like, no, I've never seen that, never heard of that. I was like, man, you got to look at this. There's people talking about Jesus. There's writings about Jesus that's not even in the Bible. And you'll hear people say this all the time. You can't believe the Bible because it's not accurate. It was written so long ago. It's been copied over and over and over. And when people say that to me, my flesh wants to pull a fork out of my pocket and stick it in them. I'm like, but that's not the Christian thing to do. Don't do that. Because when they tell me this, here's what I know. They have not looked at the evidence themselves. There is so much evidence out there that the New Testament is true. Don't ever assume that what those people tell you is real or true, right? As a matter of fact, the Roman emperor at the time of Jesus was Tiberius Caesar, which was a pretty big deal, right? I mean, this guy would kill you if you looked at him wrong. He had all the power in those days. The most powerful man, so to speak, on the earth, or in that area, Tiberius Caesar, is mentioned far less in all history books, all writings, than Jesus was. It's not even comparable. And you've got all these non-Christian people, Jewish people, Josephus. You've got all these people that are writing about Jesus, and they're telling, here's what they want, here's what they'll do. But if they're not Christian, they won't admit that he is the Son of God or he is who he said he was. But they will all agree that he was a good man on earth and he did all these wonderful things, but they will not admit it. They agree with it. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But I found out this, guys. Here's what I did, just to make a long story short. I looked at so much evidence. Still today, I love to go back and look at the evidence. And I got involved with Christian apologetics, is what it's called. Apologetics means to give a defense of. In 1 Peter 3:15, that's one of my favorite verses in the Bible, it says, always be ready to give a defense for the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and respect. Always be ready. And that hit my heart first time I read that. You got to be ready at all times. You can't just do what you want to do on earth, and then when you hear somebody bashing God or Jesus, you can't go at them. You don't try to fight a war without being prepared. You don't want to fight a war without knowing your enemy, right? So I want to encourage you guys, if you're a Christian, and I'm not saying you have to know all this stuff to be a Christian. By no means am I saying that. I'm saying that there's evidence out there for you. If you're having skeptical thoughts or doubts about any of it, look it up. Don't be afraid to look at the evidence because it's there. But don't just look at the evidence. Apply it to your lives. Submit yourself to God and ask God to reveal things to you, and He will, okay? It's just amazing to me. I tell everybody the evidence that I found. And on my website, you'll see this. I've got it in big letters at the top of my website, unbelievably believable. Because as a magician, as an illusionist, as somebody who understands deception and influence and all those things, The evidence that I found that Jesus Christ is the Son of God is unbelievably believable. Like it's so real that it's almost not real. It's just there, right there. He's waiting for you to accept it. And like I said earlier, I don't understand why these people don't believe it. It's there. The evidence is there, but they will not admit it. So I found this, and a lot of you have probably, most of you have probably read this before, but I want to read this to you again. Right here in Romans chapter 1. This is a verse, man, I read this verse several times a week, but it's so real to me whenever I finally gave my life to the Lord, because I found out that I knew who Jesus was. I knew who God was, but I wasn't living for Him. And there's a big difference. Satan will confuse you and manipulate you and deceive you into thinking that all you have to do is know who God is. There's a man right now that walked with Jesus on the face of the earth every single day almost of his life, his adult life. He was an apostle. He did all the good things that Jesus followed with Jesus, and he is burning in hell right now, right? So think about that. He knew who Jesus was. Don't be confused on just you know who God is. You got to live for Him, right? I want you to read this in Romans chapter 1, verse 18. It says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what can be known about God is plain to them because God has shown it to them. For His invisible attributes, namely His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world, so they are without excuse. For although they knew God, they did not honor Him as God or give thanks to Him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of God for mortal images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things." And that's so plain to me. There's a difference in just knowing God and living for God, okay? And if you look over here at the end of that chapter, verse 32, it says, "Though they knew God's decree that those who practice such things deserve to die, they not only do them, but give approval to them who practice for them." And I think about that, and I'm like, man, how do you reach these people? How do you reach these atheist people? And I found out through years of interacting with atheist people and people who hate God, or just agnostic people who agree, say, I don't know if it's God. It's our Christian duty to go to these people and speak to them. 1 Peter 3:15, the verse that I just said, it tells you to always be ready to give a defense. But at the end of that verse it says, "Yet do it with gentleness and respect." You don't go to them, tell them, "You're going to go to hell if you don't," beating them and stabbing them with forks and stuff like that. That's not the Christian way to do it. Sometimes you got to listen to them, spill out a bunch of nonsense. But if you listen to them, 9 out of 10 times they'll listen to you. And if you back it up with evidence, "Hey, what about this? Have you considered this? Go back and read this." They'll go back and read it. It's like, I've never thought about that. And it's pretty cool the way that they do that. And the devil will twist your mind up. This is a verse that I'm telling you, I've got this in my head every single day. I recite this in my head when the devil's working on me. He was working on me right over here this morning on this church pew. Don't think that he won't come up in here and try to get your mind twisted up, because I'm right over here this morning trying to read my Bible and get ready for what I'm going to say up here. And he's trying to get my mind thinking about something else. And I'm like, get away from me. Here's what I recited right here. James chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. It says, "Submit yourselves to God. Resist the devil and he will flee. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you." And for years I read that verse, and it was like, submit to God, resist the devil, submit to God, resist the devil. But there's the first part of that verse I was skipping for a long time. Submit to God. You cannot resist the devil by yourself. You got to first submit to God. Submit to God, then resist the devil. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. How do you resist the devil? I looked at this one time, and I was like, man, what does that mean? Resist the devil, submit to God. What does that mean, submit to God? Like, I know what it means, but how do you do that? How do you say, "God, I give my life to you"? And I read this verse not long ago in Matthew, and it says this in several different parts of the Bible, a few different parts. But in Matthew 16, verse 24, it says, "Then Jesus told His disciples, 'If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me.'" And I was like, that's it. That's how you submit to God. Take up your cross, deny yourself, and follow me. Deny yourself. I tell God on a daily basis, God, I told Him this morning coming up here, I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to go do. I'm a country boy from Mississippi. I don't even speak good English. And He's like, that's the devil. Don't let the devil, the Bible says, it says that God has prepared your table in the presence of your enemies. That means right there in front of Satan, He's giving you whatever you need. He's giving it to you. It's right there in front of Satan. Don't let the devil at your table, right? He will get in there. How do you know if the devil's at your table? If you're having thoughts like I was driving over this morning, I'm a country boy, I'm just a dumb country boy, I don't speak. That's the devil. He's there. He's trying to manipulate the gifts that God has given me. So I want to encourage you guys, if you don't know how to tell somebody you're a Christian, do some research. Look at it. If you're a skeptic, if you're thinking, man, I don't know if this stuff is true, it seems true, it's just a made-up story maybe. I don't know. I'm telling you because I've seen the evidence. God is not some fairy tale creature hanging out up in the clouds. He is as real as you and I. I'm telling you right now, this is. Please, guys, if you have any doubts, just look at it. Just because you ignore the fact that there may be a God doesn't mean you'll ever have to meet Him. We're all going to bow His knee one way or the other. You're going to face the almighty creator of the universe right there, and you're going to have to give excuse. Do it now. Try to get it right. Find the answers now before it's too late. The answers are there. You just got to go seek it. The reason that we have to go find it is because God gave us free will. Free will is the ability to make our own choices and our own decisions in life. He loves us so much that He even respects our decision to reject Him, so to speak. If He's almighty, powerful God, He can make us do whatever He wants us to do, right? He created the universe. He created the sun and the stars and all this crazy stuff in the heavens. If He created us, He can make us do whatever He wants us to do. But He loved us enough to let us do what we want to do. Love, by definition, must be freely given. I know a lot of you women in here, young girls, have you ever had that guy when you were younger? You ever had that guy that was like, I like that girl right there, and you're like, okay, get away from me. You're weird. You do magic tricks and all this other kind of stuff. Get away from me. And he says, I'm going to make you love me. Can he make you love you? Make you love him? He cannot, right? God's the same way. Love must be freely given. You got to accept that, right? God loves you too much to make you do something that you don't want to do. Now, think about this. If you live your whole life here on earth and you roam the earth and you don't want Jesus, you don't want God on the earth, you don't worship the creator of the universe, the one that made you to do so, if you don't want Jesus on earth, you're not going to want Him in eternity. Therefore, He loves you too much to make you do something that you don't want to do. He will not force you into eternity with Him because you don't want Him on earth, you don't want Him in eternity. And I hope that if you remember anything else from the thing up here today, that you'll remember that, okay? I want to encourage you guys to go search and go find those answers, okay? Now, I told you before, I want to do one more thing, and I'm going to invite Brother Chester up here after we do this. I've got one more big finale, the big grand finale. I don't have the big stage lights and the big Las Vegas props and all that type of stuff. But what I can do is some pretty cool stuff, I guess you call it. And I want to close out with this. And after this, Brother Chester, I'll ask you to come up. But I need to get 2 volunteers from the audience. Let's get some people that has not. What about you right here? And you can come right on up here. Give these guys a big round of applause. What's your name?
Zoe.
Zoe. How old are you, Zoe?
8.
8 years old. Wow. How old are you?
12.
What's your name?
Hunter.
Hunter is 12 and Zoe that's 8. Right? I got that right? Okay. Zoe, if you will stand right here. Hunter, if you will stand right here. Now, I know you guys have probably seen this on this table right here beside me. Some of you old people, I'm looking at some of you old people and like, I know what that is. I used to wear one of those back in the early 1900s. No joke, this is a top hat. Most magicians used to wear these back in the early 1900s. I don't like to wear it because it messes my hair up. By the way, I tell people when I go places far away from Mississippi, they look at me and they say, he's a city boy, look at his hair. Until I open my mouth. And they said, never mind, he's not from the South, not from the city. So, I want to show you guys, this is a top hat. Now, somewhere along the line, a lot of magicians started trading the top hat for skinny pants. Hunter, Do you have any skinny pants at home? No. Correct answer. Good answer. Guys never wear skinny pants. I get in trouble for that a lot of places I go, but there's two things I'm trying to do is share the glory of God and get men to get rid of those skinny pants. I don't understand that deal. Anyway, this is the top hat trick. Now, Hunter, I want you to hold that hat from the bottom of the top of the hat, just like that, at all times. Now, when the magician starts the top hat trick off, he can do it different ways. He can do it several different ways. Most magicians always have the hat in their possession the whole time. I think that's kind of nonsense because everybody knows that the magician can do whatever he wants with the hat. But anyway, we've got to start this off with an empty hat, Hunter, because if we have something already in the hat, this trick is not nearly as impressive. So Hunter, just tip the hat over just a little bit just to show everybody the inside of the hat. We have absolutely nothing on the inside of the hat to start the trick off, right, Zoe? Nothing inside the hat. Oh, sorry, we do have something inside the hat. All right, Zoe, if you will, just go ahead and help me take this stuff out here one at a time. I forgot to take this stuff out of the hat here. If you will, just help me take all this stuff out of here. We'll get this stuff and just pull it out. We've got silks. We got ropes. Chicken feathers. That proves I'm from the South right there. All right, so, Hunter, is there anything in the hat now?
No.
Throw it up in the air and let it hit the ground just to prove to the audience that there's absolutely nothing in the... If it's something in the hat, it's dead now. All right, Hunter, go ahead and grab the hat. Zoe, we've got to get all this stuff, and we've got to put it inside of the hat, okay? Let's stick all this stuff back up inside of the hat because we've got to get this trick going here, okay? We're going to stuff all this stuff back inside of the hat, right? Let's stuff it all back down. Hunter, hold it from the bottom of the top of the hat right there. Zoe, go ahead and help me out. Stuff all this stuff just like we had it before, right? Now, who remembers the magic words? All right, so on the count of 3, I want everybody to point at the hat and say the magic words as loud as possible. 1, 2, 3. Hunter, did anything happen? All right, hold on just a second. We've got Zoe. We've got to figure out what happened, okay? Let's do this real easy. One at a time. Let's take this stuff out. We've got to find out what happened here. Okay, didn't work. All right, Zoe. One at a time here. Let's take all this stuff out here. Come here, Zoe. Where are you going? You got to help me out right here. Let's take all this stuff out of the hat here. Zoe, go ahead and reach in there. Ladies and gentlemen, check that out. That is a real live bunny rabbit. No idea how that happened. That is ridiculous. Look at that, Zoe. That's a real rabbit.
That's so cute.
No idea where he came from. All right. Give these guys a big round of applause up here. I'll take this. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. This is my pet rabbit. His name is Rabbit Downey Jr., and he travels everywhere with me, all over the place. He steals my thunder most everywhere I go. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I did. My name is Todd Smith. I want to invite Brother Chester up here. Thank you guys so much, and God bless America. Here we go right here. Okay, never mind that. That didn't even work. All right, Brother Chester, if you will come up. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.